Okay. See, so first of all, I'm defining a function perceptron. Okay, and this data and this function is taking two arguments. One is the data, the other is num iter. Okay, so num iter is something we were defining beforehand. That is a number we want to do iteration. So that is the count of iteration we want to do. Okay, the number of updates that we want to do. Right, and first of all, I'm creating a feature which will have only predictor. The other is labels, which will have only target. Okay, then I'm initializing w with a array which will have all the elements as 0. Initially we are initializing the weight array with all zeros. Okay, then I have an empty list for misclassification. Like the way we were capturing misclassification, total number of misclassification we are doing for each iteration. Similarly, we have to do here also, right? Then what I'm doing, I'm defining an epoch that will vary between 0 to number iter, which is something we have already defined. That means that is the total number of update that we want to do. So when we are doing the first update, so in the first iteration, right? So initially my misclassification is 0. Initially, when I have not scanned over any row, my misclassification is 0. Right?
So why it is 0? Because we have not scanned.
Yeah, we have not scanned. As we will scan, as the number of misclassification will increase, we will modify this. Right? Since we have not started the process of scanning, that's why this misclassified variable is 0. As we will encounter misclassification, we will increment this. Is it clear? Is it clear?
It's clear to me.
Yeah. Okay. Then what I'm doing is I'm scanning over all the rows one after the other. Okay, and applying the perceptron formula here, which is nothing but wi xi summation. Right? So this is what it is doing. So how do we do in case of perceptron? We are having this formula, right? The dot product of w dot transpose x transpose. This is coming from the yesterday's slide. Okay, if this y.
Ashish, so what about this? I mean, the zip is returning this 2 by 2 matrix. I mean, the matrix that you explained, right?
Yes.
But then you're looping through it, and then you're saying x comma label.
Yes.
So you're using two variables to loop through it, right?
Yes. Yes. So this
And,
x.
Yeah, and then you put x equal to np dot insert x comma 0 comma 1. So that part I don't understand, like why that in insert, why we have three values, and how this loop is working with two variables.
Yeah. Let me clear this for you. So if you recall, in that formula, we had done some adjustment, right? We had said that our so we were introducing a bias term, which is always x equal to 1.
Yeah.
Right. So this is what I am doing. So at the top, let me do annotation. Right. So let's say that I am having a feature variable, feature predictor array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it. This is my predictor matrix. Now what I want to do, since I'm introducing x0, right, and x0 is always equal to 1, and I want to keep 1 for all the records. So what this is doing is it is inserting 1 in front of all the record. Getting?
Okay. So what does that 0 do? So x comma 0 comma 1.
0 is identifying the position where we want to insert one value. So if you see this, so this is a position, right? So where I'm inserting the topmost, in the leftmost position, the first position. So index for first position is 0.
Okay.
Right. So that is why, like I was saying, that it would require some of the elementary understanding of Python part.
Okay.
So till this part clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we are so here we are just simply applying the formula of perceptron. Okay. If the result is what? If the result is more than 0, if it is bigger than 0, my target is 1, else it is 0. Right? If you recall, this is what we did, right? What was our formula? This was our formula. I is equals to 0 till n xi wi, right? That should be greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, my y is equal to 1. If it is not, then y equal to 0. Right? You remember this thing?
Yes.
Okay. So this is exactly what I am doing here. Okay. Now, see, now I have another array which is having my predictions, right? So in order to compute loss, so there we were seeing loss, here I'm just seeing a delta. What I'm doing is label minus target, right? And if in so ideally what will happen if suppose I'm not doing any misclassification, so in that case my delta will be 0 because my label will equal to target, right?
Can you come again?
See, here I'm computing loss here. What is a loss? Loss is my difference between actual minus predicted.
Yeah.
My actual is label, my predicted is target. I'm computing a difference. Okay. So ideally, when there is a case where I'm not doing any misclassification, my label will equal to target.
Yes.
And my delta will become 0.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So here I'm computing the loss. Now, if my delta is not equal to 0, this for loop will, sorry, this if statement will only execute if the expression will evaluate as non-zero. That means this if block will only execute when I'm doing misclassification. If I am not doing any misclassification, this if block will not at all execute. This is how if works, right? If the expression evaluates as 0, in that case, if doesn't, if block doesn't execute, if in case the expression evaluated as non-zero, in that case, if block execute, right? So this if block will only execute when I'm doing misclassification, and whenever I'm doing a misclassification, I need to update my weights, right? So first of all, whenever I'm doing misclassification, I am incrementing my misclassified variable. And I'm doing the update in weight. What is this, by the way?
So
what-
as per the formula, W is equal to W plus X, right?
Yeah,
But here you're saying it's W equal to W plus delta into X.
yeah. So this is same thing, right? This is equal to W is equals to W.
The difference you multiply with X.
Yeah, this is same thing. This is equivalent to, this is same as W equal to X in Python.
Yeah, I understood that.
Mhm.
That part I understood, but X has this extra variable attached to it, right? Delta.
Yeah. So
So
see,
in our algorithm, when we were doing,
Mhm.
there was no
Yeah.
such extra variable attached to it. It was just W
Yep.
equal to W plus or W minus X.
Yep. I'm coming to that part. I'm coming to that part. Till misclassified line, is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now coming to your point, from where this delta is coming. So this delta is nothing but it is manipulating the sign of X. So what was my formula? What my formula was W will equal to W plus X, right? And W will equal to W minus X, right? This update we have to do if my X will belong to set of P. This update I have to do when my X will belong to set of N. Do you agree with this?
Yes.
Right. So the difference is what? The difference is only the sign part. Rest of the thing is same. So if I have to combine these two logic together by a single line, right? What I can do is W is equals to W, right? And here I can do something X, let's say delta X, whereby my delta, where my delta is nothing but just the sign of X. Do you agree with me? This delta can be positive. So this is an efficient way of combining these two logic together. It is not anything out of the box. It is just the algorithm which we have learned. It's just that I am merging these two logic together, right?
Yeah, it's clear now. Now I
Right.
understood.
Yeah. So this is effectively what? This is effectively equal to W, right? Here it will be what? Delta X. This expression can I write like this?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is what I have done here. Right? So till this part, is it clear? Everybody? Say something, yes or no.
Yeah, I understood.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Nazma, Zara, is it clear to you? Not really.
There is one line where I missed something listening also. So
Which-
there is like for X label in zip features, comma labels you said, right? So
This one? This
can you-
one, yeah.
yeah, that one. Can you explain that line once?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. See.
The rest I understood, the transpose thing and assigning and what
Mhm.
you did.
So see, what this zip thing does is, I'm having a vector, right? See, whenever I say vector, matrix, array, please consider these all are one and the same thing, at least in coding part, right?
Okay.
So let's say that
Mhm.
I'm having a vector, 1, 2,
Right.
3, 4, right? And I'm having another vector. Let's say it is 20, 30, 40, 50. You know, if I have to merge these two vectors together, one way of doing this is by applying zip. So if I'll do zip to these two vectors, what I'll be getting? I'll be getting something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, so this is what zip does.
Okay. I got. And then later, those are the only functions which only does that part. And
Yes.
later we don't use it.
Yep. It is just we want to concatenate those two vectors together. That is why I have done
Mhm.
zip.
Okay. Okay, done.
Okay, awesome. Now till this part we are clear. Now I think these two part is also clear to you. Then if you have followed me till here, then this is nothing. I'm just appending my loss into my this list, right? And I'm returning my W and misclassified list. Okay. So with every update, we are reaching toward convergence, right? So when I say convergence, it means that our loss is decreasing, right? So if I show you here this misclassified list, you'll see that in the first, when we did not do any update, the number of loss we were having, the number of misclassifications we were having was 7. As we keep increasing the weight, not weights, the update, as we keep updating the weights, you see the misclassification is decreasing. Initially it was 7, then we update our W, then misclassification reduced to 3. After we further update weights, then the misclassification increased to 4. That is okay. Sometimes it oscillates. And after certain number of updates, you see that my loss has become 0 here. Right?
Yeah.
And for what value of my W, my loss has become 0, that I can check. Right. So in this particular case, my loss has become 0, right? So I think when my W is equal to how much? Wait, that we can do with by plotting also we can do. Let me show you how we can plot here. See here. So in the first iteration, my loss was maximum, right? Then in the second iterations, my loss is reduced from 7 to 3. As I'm increasing the number of iterations, when I'm increasing the number of iterations, I mean I'm increasing the number of updates also. So after 10th
10 iterations.
after
Yeah.
10th update, my misclassification has become 0. My model has perfectly learned how to distinguish between those two categories.
One question, Ashutosh.
Mhm.
So if we go to the code, right,
Mhm.
where you have mentioned misclassified is equal to 0, that variable is first 0 and then it keeps on updating, right?
Yes, yes,
You keep on adding 1 to it
yes.
in the if delta thing. So and when we look at the list, uh, so how does that list is getting updated? I mean, does the first 0 which was there initially, does
Mhm.
it keep shifting to the right, and that is why I'm seeing zeros in the end and 7 and the because the way I'm understanding is that the first element should be 0, then it should increase because misclassified is increasing. You keep on adding 1 to it, right?
No, 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 no. Let me show you how this is working. So this is my data part, right? This is one row, this is another, like this. So initially, when I am here, when I have not actually started calculating misclassification, I'm saying that my misclassification is 0, right?
Yeah.
Now I'll reach to my first row. I will see whether there's a misclassification or not.
Yeah.
Right. If it is not a misclassification, I'll not do anything. I'll reach to the next row. I'll check if there's a misclassification here or not. If there's a misclassification, I'll add 1 to it.
Yep.
Right. Again, I'll scan here. No misclassification. Yeah, here I found another misclassification. I'll again update by adding it to 1 to it. Right.
Okay.
So for each scanning, right, I am computing, I'm updating my M. And this update of M is depending upon my difference between my target and label. If there's a misclassification, I'm not updating. If there's a misclassification, I'm updating by count by incrementing it by 1. Is it clear to you now?
Yeah, so that means in our first iteration,
Hmm.
the misclassified became 7, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
And that 7 is coming from the summation of
Correct.
summation of the feature values.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So similarly, for the next iteration, it will do again. It will keep on doing till all the iterations exhaust. Okay. All right. So anyone is having any confusion? Any slight misconfusion? You learned how to work with perceptron and MP neural model, right? If you have understood these two concepts perfectly, perfectly, then I'll give you one assignment. I'll give you one toy data set, and I will ask you to give me the value of weight for which my model will perfectly able to segregate positive point and negative point. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, so here, I mean, in the one that you have already given,
Mm-hmm.
when you're saying find the value of W,
Mm-hmm.
so here the value of W is 6.
Yeah, here the value of W is equal to 6, correct?
Okay. That's where it is separating, right?
Yes, yep.
So I mean, I'm assuming when I'm seeing the separation, I'm seeing in the graph where at that particular instance,
Hmm.
I mean, at 10th iteration,
Hmm.
the misclassification has become all zeros,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope this was a fun session, and we have almost covered 10% of our deep learning. Okay. So from tomorrow onwards, we will be seeing some advanced topics. So right now, whatever things that we have studied, it is good. It is applied really in practical world. Specifically, perceptron learning model is still applied in real world. But the limitation with this model is this is still a linear, right? If there's a nonlinear distribution of point, this perceptron algorithm will not be able to give us good result. So for that, to overcome that limitations, we will be seeing some another kind of architecture where we will try to come up with some model that will be capable of generating non-linear decision boundary. And for that, the first topic we'll be seeing is sigmoid neuron. Right. So just to summarize, we started with MP neuron, which was having a lot of limitations, but it gave us good intuition about how we make decision. Then we graduated to perceptron learning algorithm, which is a good algorithm, but only limitation is it is only applicable for linear distribution. Now we will see sigmoid neuron, which is capable of generating non-linear decision boundary. Okay. So yeah, see you tomorrow then.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for your time.